just to see that, at the end of the baby shower, a lot of times people are coming up, thank you so much. And it's to me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I really didn't do much. I'm giving you a crib, but to them, to me, it's just a crib. To them, that's a source of something. That's security. That's something. And that's my goal. My goal, that is what mom stands for.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We're happy to have on our podcast today Andrea Clark. Um, this podcast is dedicated to people like her who have created organizations to help survivors. Um, Andrea is a dedicated advocate and single mother of four. Her commitment to empowering single mothers has led her to found an organization called M.O.M, M-O-M. It stands for Mothers of Minors. Uh, so this is a platform that she provides essential resources to support women navigating the challenges of single parenthood. And through M.O.M, she works tirelessly to ensure that single mothers have access to resources they need to thrive and succeed. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the journey and vision you had when you started creating your organization, M.O.M, Mothers of Minors, and your mission and how it got started.
Yeah. My goal is to stand in the gap for these moms. And I know we call it mothers of minors, but my goal is to make sure, especially the moms that, you know, I would say have a decent job, or, those are the ones that get overlooked a lot. Those are the ones that, because they have jobs, find themselves homeless. They find themselves, as your organization knows, finds themselves in situations of abuse,
Right.
of neglect, from, there could be because we deal with younger girls all up to adulthood, and you never know what people are dealing with. So my goal was always, as a single mom, was to, one, be that go between, that person or organization that they could come to. One of my biggest things is to help, um and I right now. And get so calls from, with kids in the cars, or, hotel rooms, because they can't afford regular rent, which, a lot of times, if you think about it, when they're paying on a week basis for a hotel, it's pretty much what you would pay if you were living, it's probably more than what you would pay if you were having a, in an apartment or whatever. But it's so hard to get into these apartments where they want first, last security. Um, I joke and say, your firstborn type thing. They want so much, and these moms are already struggling that they don't have that. So it's a lot easier to get into these little hotels where they can, pay weekly or pay monthly kind of, well, usually it's weekly or bi-weekly. Um, so my inspiration was myself with my four kids. When, I became a single mom, and my kids, and I didn't get help. There was no housing, there was no food stamps, there was nothing available to me, because they said I had a good job.
Right.
If we all bought home our gross pay, we wouldn't need assistance. But if
Right.
you look at what I bring home, to bringing home what they're taking into account. So our goal is to always be that goal. Like, if we have the funds to help, if it's a light bill, I mean, we've paid daycare for moms in the past. We're a small grassroots organization, so, you know that's not an always option. But, we advocate for daycare. We make sure, we have pull-ups, pampers, things that these moms can come to us for, formula, things of that nature, because these moms, even if they are getting food stamp, with the cost of food and everything, that stuff doesn't last to the end of the month. So,
Yes.
I've always wanted just to be that help, the help that wasn't available to me when I raised my four. So that's always
No,
been
I
my.
absolutely get that, and that is so admirable because I know when I left, as well, it's same situation, what you're talking about. I had to seek out a landlord who would let me pay weekly, because to try to pay monthly was so much of a struggle, and then they wanna charge more. Yes, and having assistants sit there and tell me that my car was too expensive. Needed to sell my car and buy a car that was like less than $2,000 in value. Otherwise, I couldn't get an assistant.
Something that's going to break down on you every 5 minutes, and now you adding car repairs to the already stretched budget that we can't afford in the first place. Right, it's not set.
Exactly.
Yeah, the system's not set up to help the working mom. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we love to, I help anybody. If when if you can get to me, we don't ask them to jump through a bunch of hoops. Like, I don't need a whole bunch of things. I always say it's not my cross to bear if somebody comes to me with false intentions
Hmm.
to get help. It's not my cross to bear. If God laid this on me, on my heart, on my thing to do this, I'm doing what I know is right. Now, if somebody comes and they get this stuff for ill-gotten reasons, they have to answer for that. I don't have to answer for that. So I don't, I mean, yes, we get some kind of something just to know, okay, I'm dealing with this person, get some ID just so I know who I'm dealing with. But I
Right.
don't, of course, we don't do a lot of income verifications, and because that's just making them jump through a whole nother hoop that the system has already put them through the loop anyway. You know, they've
Uh-huh.
already been through the ringer just trying to get something at the food pantry. They got to come in with social security cards, and you need this and you need that. And it's like, why? Like, just if I say I need help,
Mhm.
just trust that I need the help. People are already, their pride is already stretched because they're having to do this in the first place. Because I can't feel, when you feel like you're failing as a parent, and now I got to come to you
Right.
as a parent and say, hey, I don't have enough food for my kid, but now you want me to jump through hoops, and I got to prove this, and if I can't prove this, you won't help me. And so it's just, it's a vicious circle for some of them. And we don't want to be that. We don't want to be that, oh Lord, here's this other organization, they can help me, they got what I need, but now I have to do XYZ ABC to get it, and I don't have that. I don't have a ride. I don't have, because we've met people and took the stuff to them. They need car seats, I have, but we'll go to you and bring it to you, bring you the car seat, bring you the bassinet, pack and play, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because if you need it, that's what we're here for. If we can make that happen. Now, I can't say we can do it all the time, but when it's available and we can, that's the goal, is to stand in. Let these moms know you're not alone. You're not out here by yourself. I get it. I've been there. Four kids, my kids, other people's kids, all at the same time. Single, still raising them, but know that there's somebody that understands your situation and not here to judge you. And that's what a lot of them get, is they feel so, like I said, they're already in that mindset of I'm failing. I know
Right.
when I was raising my kids, there were times when you were worrying about what you're going to feed them the next day. And you feel like, as a parent, like, how can I not have this together? How can I not make sure this is happening? You know, so it's just really been a blessing to be a blessing. This year we have been in existence for 10 years, and as a grassroots organization that have, to say we've never really won any major grants. We do this basically on what we receive from the community, other organizations and different things like that. I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful that I've been able to, because most grassroots don't last, especially without any.
Yes, I feel you because we're the same way here. We're still very grassroots. We don't get that many grants. Most of it's the public paying back. People like you're talking about who've been in our shoes, who have been helped, and then they hit a position where they can help and they push it forward. So because that is it's horrible. Because even like I said, I've been there. And even when there were times like I had enough assistance, at least for food on the table, then you'd hit the place of like, oh my gosh, we're out of shampoo, we're out of toilet paper. Systems don't pay for that, and you're living with young girls who need necessities and you ain't got no money. And oh, and the system is not geared to help you in any way, shape, or form. And then when you compound on top of it, that you're trying to keep your children safe because you've been in a domestic violence situation and keep yourself safe. I mean, going and asking somebody else for assistance can be like the worst nightmare because then you have to reveal what you've been through. So, yeah, yeah.
And then what I found too is that's how a lot of women who are going through domestic violence ends up back with the abuser,
Hmm.
because they feel like, especially if that abuser has the finances to help or to think, then they think that they have to stay there because they don't have any other options. And that's scary all in itself. That in itself is, that gives that abuser that extra umph of power that they feed off of. And and my goal is, let's give you your own power. you know
Right.
you give you your own power, take your power back, because even though it might be hard, even though, what I'm saying, nobody deserves to be abused, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, any of it, and you don't have to take that just so you can have a roof over your head, just
Uh-huh.
so you can have food on the table. And you know what I'm saying, because God forbid if it goes wrong, now your kids or family is left with this abuser,
Yes.
because or the opposite, now they're left without any either, because of the unfortunate situations where they take themselves out and the person. And you don't want to put yourself, we want to just empower these young girls as they're young, because
Hmm.
teenagers are going through domestic violence, and they don't really, a lot of the times, they don't even recognize
Yes.
that they're being abused. They don't recognize it because they think, oh, well, he says he loves me. My goddaughter, from the time she was a baby, she's almost 16 now, but she's when she's been ever since she's been a baby, and I do it to all my granddaughters. And I say, "Hey, beautiful, hey, beautiful." Every time I say, "Hey, beautiful." So one day she calls me, and I'm talking to her, and she says, "God, mommy, I'm the prettiest girl in my class. I'm the prettiest girl on my cheerleading squad." I said, "Well, all right, baby." She says, "And when I go outside, the sun gets a little bit brighter because I walked outside." And I was like, "You know what? You
Yes.
are absolutely right. That my job is not done." So
That's great.
that's what I want to instill yeah, that's what I want to instill, is like, build that self-esteem, like, and a lot of that starts with just making sure they have the basic necessities that they need for themselves, whether it's personal hygiene items or baby items, clothes for the baby, packing plays, bassinets, high chairs,
Hmm.
cribs, whatever it is we have available, to make sure that these moms, at least that takes one stress off. That at least they know, tonight my baby has somewhere to sleep. I have some personal, if it's, and do these things as often as possible.
Yes. Yes. Well, and a lot of times it takes community to get back on your feet when you're struggling from that kind of thing. And so
Yes.
it's always a blessing to give back, but to give back in our own communities, especially to younger women, because you were talking about that, and it made me think about, so many of the younger women that I see that we help in our organization, they really don't understand the dynamics of that they are in an abusive relationship. They use a lot of, like, I don't know if you hear the same thing, but like that their relationship is toxic. That's how they, and like I feel like society's kind of put it out there like it's kind of cutesy because you hear that in the songs and stuff, toxic relationship, like, yeah, and so they really don't understand the insidiousness of what they are experiencing and what will be experienced once they are starting to create that journey on their own. Um, yeah, so I imagine you help a lot of young ladies in the community on that. Yes. So I don't think we mentioned earlier, like, where is your organization located? Kind of what area are you serving? So,
I'm in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. So we, so St. Pete, Clearwater. So basically Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough counties are the closest. But if people are coming, I've helped people in Polk County, which is like Lakeland area. You know,
okay.
my goal, my motto is if you can get to us, I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to travel all the way to Lakeland to bring you something, but if you can get to us, we can help. So we help the surrounding Tampa Bay area.
That's incredible. And so right now, what kind of things can others out there do to help your organization? Where do you need the most help?
The most help is actually funding to be able to help these moms, like I said, when they come to us and they need a place to stay. Because that's usually what we get the most calls about. Hey, I've called all the shelters are full. I can get into a hotel, but I don't have, even if I can just, a lot of them are, I'm starting a new job. If I need to, can somebody help at least for a week worth of stay? So that's where we get the most help. I mean, we need the most help, excuse me. And also, we're in the process of planning and executing our 10th annual Showers of Love community baby shower, where
Oh,
we have right now we have about 70 mothers registered for the baby shower. So our goal is to, get enough funds to be able to make sure every mom walks out with at least what I call a big ticket item, whether it's a crib, whether it's a bassinet, whether it's a high chair, pack and play, car seat, brand new car. We do sometimes do gently used, but our goal with the big ticket items is for them to be brand new, especially because we've learned things as I've learned, like car seats. Car seats have expiration dates. Did not know that.
oh, they didn't
uh
back in the day, did they? They do
if they've
now.
ever been in an accident, right, right, when we used to transfer the car seat from one kid to the next kid to the next kid, but now they have expiration dates. If
Mhm.
they've been in a car accident, you're supposed to throw them away. um and you can't tell if they've ever been in an accident. So we just, especially with car seats, we stopped taking generally used car seats because we can't, determine that factor. Um, but we're in need of, the cribs, bassinets, pack and plays, and things like that to make sure that we have enough to be able to disseminate them at the baby shower. So, so that is what our goal is right now. And our immediate need is, funds for the between, helping the moms with roofs over their heads or helping with getting the items we need for them for the baby shower is what our immediate need is for.
Okay, awesome. And so when is that community? When's that baby shower?
It is going to be July 6th, and it's going to be at the Enoch Davis Center in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Awesome. And what we'll do for our listeners is we'll get information from Andrea and we'll put it down in the descriptions below so you can donate or send items or whatever you
Okay.
need to do. We'll have all of that down there for the listeners. So if you want to provide help to mom, to mothers of minors, that we would love for y'all to help support them during this time because that sounds like fun. So it all right. So are you going to have, is this a big community event or is just the ladies coming in and getting their stuff? So what's going to be happening at it?
What's happening is we do it as a big baby shower, like just like a baby shower that you would go to for an individual. We decorate, we make them feel welcome. We
Mhm.
also have community resource vendors there, so we'll have like Habitat for Humanity, Women, Infant, and Children, uh, just to name a couple that have been in the past. We usually have a lot of times like different health insurance companies for the people who get like medical assistance or whatever, that they know of the different HMOs. We'll have like the library people in. So we have a lot of different resources because again, my goal is always to, yes, help you with the stuff you need, but I also want you to be aware of different resources that are available to you in the community, especially like Habitat for Humanity, which is the organization that helps them get, as long as they get their credit right and be able to purchase a home at a 0% interest. They have to put in some sweat equity, but hey,
Yeah.
if that's a program that you can qualify for, definitely worth having them there to tell you more about, because a lot of people don't realize it's there. And
Right.
for a young person to be able to get into that program and get their own home, now you don't have
Yes.
to worry about you know you don't have to worry about hotels. And so just my goal, I mean, and sometimes I get emotional about this, but just to see that, at the end of the baby shower, a lot of times people come up, thank you so much. And it's to me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I really didn't do much. I'm giving you a crib, but to them, to me, it's just a crib. To them, that's a source of something. That's security. That's something. And that's my goal. My goal, that is what mom stands for. That is what I want it to be. I want it to be even bigger because I want to eventually be able to open up whether it's a group home or a
Hmm.
shelter or something, where I would have, possibly probably two different ones, because I would want, anybody suffering from, or been in a domestic violence situation needs to be separate,
Right.
because we want their facility to be off the beaten path. We want their facility to not be well known, because we want to keep them extra safe. We want to keep all safe, but we know that there needs to be an extra level of security for
Yeah.
people who have been victims of domestic violence. So that is my end goal, to make mom a self-sustaining organization that can do leaps and bounds for moms and survivors of domestic violence.
No, that is awesome. That's incredible. You're doing incredible work.
Thank
So
you.
yes. So is there anything else you'd like to include about the organization or say something to our viewers before we let them go?
Just know that when you're not by yourself. If you're listening to this and you're a single mom, if you're a grandma who stepped into a mom's role, you're not by yourself. I've been there. I've done that. Um, know that there are places and organizations out there to help. We we may not be able to do a lot, but we will do what we can to make sure that each and every mom has a voice. And your voice, whether it be meek or mild, is still a voice and deserves to be heard.
Amen. I agree absolutely. So um So that ends this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We thank you for joining us. I just want to remind everybody out there that Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence has a support line. You can always reach out to us. The number is 855-287-1777. And the resource line, the support line is there to help provide resources. So, like, if you're not in the area here that Mom is in, if you're somewhere else across the country, we have volunteers who answer that line who can help you find resources, just like Mom out there in your local area, to help support you in your own community. So, if you need that, please feel free to call us. It's from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can call in and get some resources, or even just a listening ear. If you just need somebody to talk to about your situation, somebody who will understand. All our volunteers are survivors as well out there. So please, please call us. And thank you so much. And that concludes this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors.